Welcome to PK Woodworking, day 2 of commissioning. First things first, you're gonna see probably by this weekend, there's been a lot of moving and changing in the shop. I had to get rid of that side table that was against the wall because I got a different machine. I'm gonna move some other machines out. The radial arm saw is not gonna be in the shop anymore because I'm pretty sure this thing can handle anything I can throw at it. And I guess we'll go over the whole commissioning and stuff, but so far day 1, incredibly nice. I understand why people get their saws commissioned, especially one like this. There really isn't an easy way to put something like this together by yourself anyway, but secondarily, there's so many connections, so many things to understand, and we're not even teaching me how to use the thing yet. So just a precursor of what today is going to look like. Yesterday was probably 10 hours worth of video. I have no idea how I'm going to get that all down, but the machine is basically put together. Today is going to be calibration and training. So anyways, you'll see in a few minutes when we start up with everybody. I'll let you get to it. Behind me, you're probably going to see some commissioning going on, sped up video. So I wanted to talk about the commissioning of the saw. So the first video that you saw was the first day of commissioning, and then we kind of cut off at the end of that. And then we didn't talk about yet on video the rest of the commissioning of the saw. So I wanted to kind of go into a little bit of detail around that because it took a lot longer than I think they expected it to take. The total time took a few days. Let me explain day 2. So at the end of day 1, we went to power the saw up, and it immediately blew the fuses for the main motor. Now, this saw is not a star delta start, so it's 11 horsepower motor and it just starts from a dead stop. We were a little surprised that that saw had fuses for the main motor, but it is what it is. They were 30 amp fuses and they blew pretty much instantaneously. We tried a few different sets of fuses. The SCM tech went out and bought more fuses. Still couldn't get the thing to run without popping. We started checking voltages, etc., and made sure things were working well. And the voltages all seemed within spec, relatively in spec. So immediately they got in contact with SCM in Atlanta and all the other techs that are out there to discuss the situation. And then they took lots of video, took lots of pictures, sent it to SCM in Italy. The next day they came and we actually tried to test the motor separately, and that encompassed a bunch of different things that I could go into, but in general we tested the motor by itself and the motor ran fine on its own on a 30 amp breaker connected directly to my phase perfect. So we kind of knew that it wasn't a situation where there was a problem with the motor. The brake part of the motor is integrated into the motor, which is really kind of cool, and it functioned perfectly too. So I think we came to the conclusion that you couldn't get a bigger fuse into that fuse block, and we really needed to move to a breaker system instead of fuses. So the next day we went and tried a breaker on it, and the saw worked flawlessly with the breaker system. So the next day aired us a breaker to the house, and they installed the breaker into the machine, and the machine's main motor has run perfectly since then. However, when we turned on the scoring blade turned off after about 30 seconds. And same issue with that one. They supplied us with 5 amp fuses from the factory, and we didn't really know any better, and the tech had been going through all of the schematics to look at it. Come to find out, the schematics actually called out 8 amp fuses. 8 amp fuses work perfectly on the scoring motor. The scoring motor has worked perfectly since then. There were a few things that they wanted to make sure were perfect. SCM in Italy was very particular about what they want to get done, and they actually are creating an entire new schematic for my saw because switching from the original fused assembly for the motor to a breaker for the motor, which is kind of cool, I guess, or required, I'm not sure. But at this point, the saw runs flawlessly. We had to do a couple of fixes along the way. I guess you could assume would happen on something as complex as this, but nothing at all major. There is a pin
on a handle that comes up that had sheared off kind of or bent from shipping as an accessory. So they are ordering me that part to get that fixed. Another accessory that came shipped separately from the saw is a little table that came scratched. They're fixing that for me as well. And then we did some adjusting on the drag chain holder for the fence as it moves back and forth so it runs better than it did originally. So all that stuff was totally taken care of by SCM. They had people coming out to my house like over and over to my shop to get all this stuff supported. I felt like, you know, I don't know if it was because they knew I was putting this on YouTube or not. I have no idea, but I felt like they didn't want to leave until the saw was running the way that they expected the saw to run, which right now runs fantastically. They did do some calibration cuts with the saw after they got it to power up. The saw came from the factory pretty much completely calibrated from the outrigger perspective. They really didn't have to do anything to solve anything on the outrigger. They did adjust the toe on the rip fence slightly, and I think Sam wanted a certain spec on it, and it seems to work, you know, flawlessly. Everything I've cut at this point in time has been, you know, easy as butter and completely square. Test of that will all be this coming weekend right now, because I need to finish off. There's a table or a kind of a cabinet behind me. I need to finish off this weekend. I'm gonna cut some white oak top for that, get that all going, and then I guess I don't know if it'll put the saw through its paces, but I'll know if it's cutting square or not for sure at that point. The cool part about it was my tech from SCM walked me through how you would reset or fix any of these stops if you needed to. However, he just kept telling me, like, if something doesn't work right, just call me and I'll come out and solve it. So that would be cool. But at this point in time, I don't have any issues with anything about the way the saw works at all. I don't want to go through all the features yet because, like, that's not the point of this. I think I'll do a run through of all the features probably on my next video. What is the experience like? Well, you'll probably see on the video, like, day 2 was kind of weird. We kind of all sat there and we were like trying to figure out what was going on with it. You know, it was a little unnerving, but I knew that they would solve it, you know, at one point in time. You know, we did, you know, take some things apart and do some things to see to make sure that, hey, that we didn't have something like that the motor was hung up against the belt or something like that. So none of that stuff actually occurred. It was purely that, you know, fuse versus a breaker. But one cool thing came about it. Like, I got to see and learn more about the insides of the saw because Jorge and I were deep inside there looking at how it's put together and how robust that center section of the chassis inside the saw really is, how it's all put together. Very modular, so, you know, it's not as challenging as you would think to do some of the work in there. The 11 horsepower motor weighs 70 pounds, so getting it in and out of the saw is definitely something. No two ways about that. But putting it back in was actually a lot simpler than we would have ever thought it would be. So, needless to say, couldn't be happier with the saw at this point in time. But again, I've only used it for a couple of weeks, and so time will tell. The features that it has, again, I'll go over in a different kind of video on that. I just really wanted to talk about more about the commissioning of the saw and how that went. Let me give you a kind of a better time frame. The assumption was that it was going to take probably, I think what they book is 2.5 days is what I think I was told. Maybe that's not true, I don't know. But when we got here and we started to put it together on day 1, we thought we were going to be way ahead of the game because at the middle of day 1, we were pretty much almost put together and ready to power it up. I want to say somewhere around 3 o'clock on that Monday, we were powering the thing up and ready to start checking it out. Checked out the software, checked out all the things that we're going to run, and then we got to powering up the saw blade, and that's kind of when things started to slow us down. And then the next day was pretty much completely absorbed with testing and seeing if the motor was good on its own, and then validating all of the schematic inside of the electronics bay, inside of the saw. All of that was perfect. Day 3 was checking out if we could get it to go with the breaker, and that did work. So with replacing the fuses with the breaker, that worked. They next day aired, they made a decision, I think at probably 10 a.m. or something like that day, to next day air the breaker to my house. Not much got done the rest of that day. I think some people took off or whatever. I think Sam had to take off at the beginning of that third day. And then Jorge stayed around to try to find part numbers and stuff like that on that pin that was damaged and things like that. On Thursday, the part showed up from SCM, got it installed, and it worked flawlessly. At that point in time in the afternoon, he walked me through all of the features of the machine and how to program it, how to adjust it, how to put in a different thickness of blade, how to put in all that parts of whatever that looks like into the machine. It's pretty straightforward. I probably could figure most of it out on my own. It definitely seemed a little more intuitive than my Kappa 400 from Felder was. But I mean, it's not fair to compare because that Kappa 400's software and touchscreen was really like 10 years old compared to what this is now. So I would expect that a new Felder would be more straightforward than one that I had previously. So I don't know that that's a fair comparison or a knock on either one. So I'm not going to say that. But this is really easy to use. Had to wait for Italy and SCM at Italy about the scoring motor to make a decision on that. There was actually a holiday that happened right at the end of that week, so we didn't get an answer until that Monday. Again, SCM came back that Monday, put in the different size fuses and to make sure that worked, and got that all dialed in, and we were good to go. So again, they were here for way more days than I think I paid for, and they gave amazing service and were super helpful the whole time and very supportive. The cool part about it is that my technician, Jorge, he had somebody on the line whenever he needed it. He could call somebody to support him. And if I was trying to do this myself on something like this, I don't know who I would call. I don't know who I would get a hold of. Now, my experience with SCM on parts from SCM has been great. When I called up and asked them about ordering parts for anything so far, because SCM's where I got most of the parts for my wide bill sander they picked up right away and they were great. I just don't know what it would look like if I had to diagnose something with them and what that would look like. I don't know. I know somebody would pick up right away. I just don't know how long it would take to get somebody who could walk me through it. So again, the idea of commissioning was never something that I thought was of value to me because I feel pretty handy, like I could do anything with a machine. In this case, I've kind of changed my mind about what that would look like when the machines get into more complexity. Would I have done it for my SCM joiner planer combo? No, I don't think I would have. It almost came completely put together. I didn't have to do anything to install anything on it. It was just done. All I had to do was plug it in and take the goop off of all of the surfaces. It was definitely not this way on the saw. It's just too big to be shipped that way. So, that would make sense. If I was getting a really complex shaper that had all kinds of features on a shaper, like one of the tenoning systems that fits on the outside of the shaper, yeah, I don't know if that's something I would want to tackle myself either. I think that would be something I would be looking to get commissioned also, just because the stuff is so heavy and you don't want to damage it yourself. I can understand that. Having talked to a few people on the Felder's Owners Group, which by the way, if you own a Felder and you're not on the Felder's Owners Group, like shame on you, you should be on there because there's so many smart people on there. But after talking to some people on there who actually do have Martins pretty much come from the factory put together. Like they're almost plug and play when you get to your place. So they also ship direct. Your machine comes by itself on a shipping system, and definitely more money to get something shipped to your home and get a commission from Martin, I think, than any other company in the US. But from what I've been told from the people who have them, it's like an amazing experience. The machine comes, you probably attach the outrigger and you're ready to go. Like everything's just done. at least that for the previous generations. I have not talked to anybody who has gotten a T66 or a T77, which is their newer versions, to know how those are put together. But the previous versions have been that way. You know, I can't say that that's better or that's worse, but it's definitely a different experience than it was for the SCM. For me, I love this because being here with that tech, I now know exactly how this thing goes together, how it comes apart, and I would feel comfortable in the future if I had to do something to it that I know that it's possible for me to do it with it. Fit and finish. So if you haven't been on the YouTube to look at it, Albert, a friend of mine in New Zealand, who has the L'invincible SI version of this saw, has a really cool video that shows his blade tilts both plus and minus 46 degrees, I think, or something like that. That's what SIX means. And then he doesn't have a scoring motor, I don't think. He doesn't have a scoring blade on his because he doesn't really do sheet goods. And he has a shorter stroke slider than mine, but he has the same outrigger. He talks about it on his YouTube video that he made. But I would just say that, like, for me, at this point, again, for what I own, the fit and finish on this machine is really, top notch. Like, it's put together incredibly well. It's very heavy. There's not a place where you think, should the screw be any bigger? Should the bolt be any bigger? No, they're big. The castings are massive. All those things that you would I was expecting were that way. Everything's really, really heavy. On the other hand, things work really smoothly. And like I'll show in the video when I show how this thing works, but just unclicking one knob on that outrigger that weighs, 300 pounds, I can slide it all the way up and down the sliding table to whatever position I want. And the feeling is just like it's riding on air as it goes across. Again, super happy with that part of it. My overarching experience with commissioning turned out amazing. A little weird in the middle because of the fuses versus breaker kind of situation, but SCM was on top of it and they got it worked out, and I'm happy as can be. And again, the saw arrived completely undamaged, in great condition. There were 2 accessories that showed up separate, not in the crate of the saw. Those came on a weird pallet and those did get some damage, but they're replacing them or fixing them, so that's fine. And yeah, I appreciate you again hanging around with this one. I don't know how fast I was putting the video behind me while this was all going on, but I didn't feel like it was a ton of information going on in this part of it. So I didn't feel the need to go slow with it, because most of the day 2 through all the rest of the days were a lot of hemming and hawing over what we were going to do and how that was going to work. Thanks for watching. And the next video that I do on the saw will be actually an overview on all the specs, what it does, how it works, all those kind of things. So in the next few weeks, I should get to that particular video. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.